find yourself nodding along, because the wisdom here is simple yet profound. The author doesn't just tell you what's wrong. They show you how to fix it, how to turn things around. That's what makes this audiobook so engaging. In a world where we are constantly encouraged to look forward or reflect back, we often forget the most powerful gift within our reach, the present moment. The power of now. Embracing present moment living is more than a book. It is a journey into the transformative potential of living here and now. Rooted in ancient wisdom and supported by modern insights, this book explores why the present moment is not only a place of peace, but also the key to unlocking a life of purpose, clarity, and joy. The idea of now may seem simple, yet most of us rarely experience it. We live in an age where speed and productivity are prioritized, and our minds become restless with thoughts of what has been or what might be. Consequently, we lose touch with our most authentic experiences and, more significantly, with ourselves. The past, though essential for learning, is often a weight on our shoulders. Meanwhile, the future, constantly filled with plans, worries, and expectations, robs us of our energy. Through these pages, you'll learn why reconnecting with the present is essential for finding fulfillment, healing old wounds, and embracing a life that resonates with who you truly are. As we journey through each chapter, we will uncover why time is a mental construct and how detaching from this construct frees us from unnecessary suffering. We'll explore the nature of the ego, our inner sense of I that often keeps us trapped in cycles of discontent and doubt. By observing our minds and recognizing these thought patterns, we can begin to dismantle the chains of ego, opening the door to self-discovery and inner peace. The practices and reflections offered in this book are designed for anyone willing to explore beyond the surface. Through mindful exercises, meditation techniques, and moments of deep introspection, you will learn how to cultivate a new awareness. This awareness is not merely a mental state, but a new way of engaging with the world, one where every moment becomes an opportunity for renewal. In learning to live fully in the now, we discover that we are not victims of our past, nor are we helpless before an uncertain future. Instead, we learn that every present moment holds everything we need to thrive. With this understanding, each challenge becomes an opportunity to grow, and each success becomes a celebration of the journey rather than the destination. Discovering the present, the essence of now. The notion of now may feel elusive, almost intangible. After all, we're often taught to view time as a continuous line, a past we're trying to make sense of and a future we're aiming toward. Yet the present moment, often dismissed as simply a bridge between these two realms, is the only place where life truly unfolds. Our experiences, our senses, our thoughts, they can only happen here and now. In this chapter, we'll look at how living in the present shifts our perspective on reality, granting us a sense of wholeness and liberation from the burdens of regret, nostalgia, fear, and anxiety. Defining the now, reality's foundation. To understand the power of now, we first need to grasp its nature. When we think about the present, it might be tempting to frame it as a fleeting second, a mere blip in time. But the present is far more than a moment. It is the space in which life itself exists. Unlike the past, which is a mental construct of memories, or the future, which is nothing more than imagined possibilities, the present moment is the only place where reality exists. When we give full attention to the present, we find that it's rich, complex, and full of nuance. For example, take a deep breath right now and observe. Feel the air filling your lungs, the rise of your chest, the calm that follows as you exhale. This is not merely a physiological process, but a gateway to mindfulness, to being fully, undeniably alive. The trap of living elsewhere, a society focused on not now. One of the most significant barriers to embracing the present is the cultural emphasis on doing over being. From an early age, many of us are encouraged to achieve, to plan, and to anticipate. We are taught that success lies somewhere in the future, in the next promotion, the next relationship, or the next big milestone. This conditioning trains our minds to live in a state of not now, constantly seeking something just beyond our reach. Consider how often your thoughts drift to things that happened yesterday or plans for tomorrow. This habit leads to a life spent almost entirely in a state of mental time travel, causing us to miss the beauty and potential of the present moment. Yet, what happens when we step away from the patterns of regret or anticipation? When we stop waiting for the next thing, we can start experiencing life as it is, abundant, rich, and meaningful. Observing the mind, realizing you are not your thoughts. To live in the now, we must start by observing our thoughts. This may sound challenging, as our minds are constantly active, processing, judging, and analyzing. But when we take a step back and observe our mental activity without attaching to it, we begin to realize a liberating truth. We are not our thoughts. Instead, we are the awareness that observes these thoughts. Try a simple exercise. Close your eyes and observe your thoughts for a moment. Notice how one thought flows into another. Perhaps memories pop up, worries about work, or plans for the evening. As you notice each thought, ask yourself, who is observing these thoughts? This exercise reveals that behind the thoughts is a silent observer, your true self. In discovering this observer, you connect with a profound state of presence. You start to see that your thoughts are just narratives the mind creates, and they do not define you. The present moment, then, becomes not only a place of peace, but also of empowerment, where you are no longer enslaved by the stories of the past or projections about the future. Experiencing the present through sensory awareness. One of the most accessible ways to connect with the present is through our senses. When we engage with our sensory experience, truly listening, tasting, feeling, smelling, or seeing, we root ourselves in the moment. This sensory focus pulls us out of the mental chatter and into the direct experience of life. Let's take the example of eating an apple. Most people might consume it while watching TV, scrolling on their phone, or thinking about their day. But if you take a moment to truly engage with the act of eating, noticing the crunch, the sweetness, the feel of the skin, you experience the simple joy of a present moment encounter. This practice, known as mindfulness, helps us cultivate an awareness of life's details that are often missed. By engaging our senses in this way, we not only enhance our daily experiences, but also cultivate a habit of presence that extends beyond individual moments. Sensory awareness reminds us that life is here to be tasted, seen, and felt in its fullness, and that the doorway to this rich experience is always open, releasing the habit of worry and regret. Another aspect of embracing the present moment involves letting go of two powerful mental forces: worry and regret. Worry binds us to the future, filling our minds with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. Regret chains us to the past, replaying mistakes and losses. Both rob us of the only time we truly have, the now. Worry often arises from an attachment to control, an attempt to prepare for a future we cannot predict. Regret, on the other hand, stems from a desire to rewrite a past we cannot change. By accepting the reality that the future is uncertain and the past is unchangeable, we free ourselves to live with a newfound clarity. To step out of worry and regret, practice observing these feelings without judgment. When worry arises, notice it, and let it pass like a cloud drifting through the sky. Similarly, when regret surfaces, acknowledge it and then release it. This practice of observing and releasing thoughts frees us to experience the calm of the present moment, unburdened by what was or what could be. Embracing presence as a pathway to fulfillment. At its heart, living in the now is about embracing life as it unfolds, with all its challenges and joys. It is not about escaping reality, but rather about fully engaging with it. When we cultivate this presence, we begin to find fulfillment not in some distant goal, but in the journey itself. The present moment becomes a wellspring of joy, a source of inspiration, and a space of profound acceptance. In this first chapter, we've touched on the significance of living in the now and the ways we can begin this journey. Throughout this book, We'll continue to explore tools and practices for living more consciously, unlocking the limitless potential of the present moment. The now is waiting for you, not as a destination to reach, but as a presence to experience. With an open mind and heart, let's embark on this journey together, discovering what it truly means to live in the power of now. Breaking free from time's illusions. Time is an illusion. This phrase, often attributed to Einstein, captures an ancient idea. Our concept of time, while useful for practical purposes, can also imprison us. For most of us, time seems like a relentless force, always ticking away, always pushing us forward or pulling us back. But what if this constant focus on time is one of the reasons we struggle to find peace and happiness? What if we could learn to see time in a different way? In this chapter, we'll explore how our perception of time influences our lives and how liberating ourselves from time's illusions can open the door to true freedom. We'll look at practical steps for loosening time's grip, allowing us to live more fully in the present. Understanding psychological time versus clock time. Before we can break free from time's illusions, it's essential to distinguish between two different forms of time: psychological time and clock time. Clock time. This is the practical time we use to function in the world, getting to appointments, scheduling meetings, and setting deadlines. Clock time is necessary for organizing life in a modern world and serves a useful purpose. Psychological time. Unlike clock time, psychological time exists only in our minds. It's the mental framework that keeps us focused on the past or future, pulling us out of the present moment. Psychological time is when we replay memories, dwell on past mistakes, or worry about the future. Psychological time keeps us bound to endless loops of regret and anxiety. While clock time helps us navigate the external world, psychological time often becomes a trap, creating suffering and robbing us of peace. Learning to recognize when we're slipping into psychological time is a key to freeing ourselves from its illusions. The problem of someday. One of the most insidious traps of psychological time is the notion of someday. Many of us tell ourselves that someday we'll be happy, someday we'll achieve our dreams, or someday we'll finally be able to rest. We place our happiness on hold, always waiting for a future event to bring us fulfillment. Consider how often you think, when I get that promotion, I'll be happy, or once I lose this weight, I'll feel confident. These thoughts reinforce the idea that happiness exists in the future. But this future is a moving target. Once we reach one goal, another one often takes its place. And so, happiness and peace always remain someday, just out of reach. To break free from the trap of someday, we need to reframe our mindset. Instead of waiting for some future moment to bring happiness, we can choose to find joy in the present. Happiness is not a destination, but a state of being that we can cultivate right now, regardless of external circumstances. When we let go of the someday mentality, we allow ourselves to live fully and appreciate each moment for what it is, letting go of regret and forgiving the past. While our fixation on the future keeps us from enjoying the present, our attachment to the past can also be a source of great suffering. Memories of past mistakes, regrets, and painful experiences can haunt us, coloring our perception of the present. When we hold on to these memories, we create an emotional prison that traps us in a cycle of self-blame and guilt. The key to breaking free from the past is forgiveness, not only forgiving others, but also forgiving ourselves. Self-forgiveness is a radical act of self-compassion, a way of letting go of the past so we can move forward unburdened. It doesn't mean we ignore or dismiss past actions, but it does mean we release ourselves from the grip of regret. The past cannot be changed, but our relationship to it can. When we forgive, we liberate ourselves to live more fully in the now. Here's a simple exercise to practice self-forgiveness. 1. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, grounding yourself in the present. 2. Bring to mind a memory or regret that you've been holding on to. Observe any emotions that arise, but try not to judge them. 3. Silently repeat the phrase, "I forgive myself," or "I release this," Allow yourself to feel the weight of this memory dissolve. 4. When you're ready, open your eyes and take a few more deep breaths, anchoring yourself in the present moment. Repeating this practice regularly can help you release the emotional hold that the past has over you, allowing you to approach life with a renewed sense of freedom. The illusion of control over the future. While we often focus on the past with regret, we look toward the future with a need for control. Many of us plan and worry because we believe it gives us some control over what's to come. Yet, the truth is that we can never fully control the future. Life is unpredictable, and despite our best efforts, we can't anticipate every twist and turn. This desire for control creates anxiety. When we're constantly planning, worrying, and preparing for the future, we overlook the peace available in the present. Letting go of this illusion doesn't mean we stop planning or thinking ahead. Rather, it means accepting that we can only do our best with the information we have and trust the process of life. A practical approach to letting go of future worries. 1. Set intentions, not rigid plans. Intentions are flexible and open to change. Rather than setting specific outcomes, focus on the feelings and values you want to cultivate. For example, instead of saying, "I must get this job," you might set the intention to seek fulfilling work. 2. Practice gratitude for the present. Whenever you feel yourself worrying about the future, take a moment to list 3 things you're grateful for right now. This practice anchors you back in the present, reminding you of what you already have. 3. Trust in uncertainty. Embrace the unknown as a natural part of life. Remember that uncertainty allows for growth, spontaneity, and unexpected joy. Living in the timeless present. When we release our attachments to the past and future, we enter what some call the timeless present, a state of consciousness where we are fully immersed in the here and now. In this space, time becomes irrelevant, and we connect with a sense of eternal presence. This state is often described by mystics, philosophers, and spiritual teachers as a place of peace, clarity, and profound joy. Living in the timeless present doesn't mean we ignore our responsibilities or stop planning for the future. Instead, it means we approach each moment as it arises, with openness and acceptance. We can still work toward goals, but we do so without attachment, trusting that each moment holds exactly what we need. Embracing the power of now. Breaking free from time's illusions allows us to experience life as it is, unfiltered and without judgment. By letting go of our attachment to past regrets and future anxieties, we awaken to the richness of the present moment. Life becomes an unfolding journey, full of surprises and opportunities for growth. As we move forward in this journey, we'll continue to explore practical ways to deepen our connection with the now, building a life rooted in presence, peace, and purpose. Embracing the power of now is a practice, a choice we make again and again, and with each choice, we discover a little more freedom and a little more joy. Mindfulness and awareness, anchoring in the present. Living in the present moment is both simple and profoundly transformative. Yet, as straightforward as it sounds, our minds are naturally inclined to wander, slipping from the present to memories of the past or anxieties about the future. Mindfulness and awareness are 2 powerful practices that help us return to the now, allowing us to engage fully with life as it unfolds. In this chapter, we'll explore what it truly means to be mindful and aware, and we'll introduce practical exercises to cultivate these qualities. Through mindfulness, we develop a skill that is essential for inner peace, clarity, and connection. The art of mindfulness, what it is and isn't. Mindfulness is often associated with meditation or specific techniques, but at its core, mindfulness is a state of being. It's about paying full attention to what is happening in the present moment without judgment. It's observing, accepting, and fully experiencing life as it is, not as we wish it to be. One of the biggest misconceptions about mindfulness is that it requires us to stop thinking or clear our minds completely. But mindfulness is not about silencing the mind. It's about watching the mind, understanding its patterns, and learning to disengage from thoughts when necessary. When practiced consistently, mindfulness shifts our relationship with our thoughts and emotions, allowing us to observe them rather than be controlled by them. Developing mindful awareness in everyday life. You don't need to sit on a meditation cushion or isolate yourself from the world to practice mindfulness. In fact, some of the most powerful mindfulness practices happen in ordinary, daily moments. Here are a few ways to incorporate mindfulness into your daily life. 1. Mindful eating. Eating is something we do every day, often while multitasking. When you eat mindfully, you bring full attention to the experience, the texture, taste, and smell of the food. Eating slowly, savoring each bite, and truly appreciating the meal can transform a routine act into a form of meditation. 2. Mindful breathing. The breath is a natural anchor to the present moment. Whenever you feel your mind drifting, take a few slow, deep breaths. Notice the sensation of the air entering your lungs, the rise and fall of your chest, and the feeling of calm that comes with each exhale. 3. Mindful listening. In conversations, we're often waiting for our turn to speak or distracted by our own thoughts. Mindful listening involves giving your full attention to the other person, noticing their words, tone, and body language without interrupting or judging. This deep form of listening not only enriches relationships, but also enhances our awareness and empathy. 4. Mindful walking. As you walk, bring attention to each step, feeling the ground beneath your feet, the motion of your legs, and the rhythm of your pace. Walking mindfully helps you reconnect with your body and appreciate the simple act of movement. Through these practices, you'll find that mindfulness can be seamlessly integrated into your life. Each time you bring attention to the present, you're training your mind to let go of distractions and to engage fully with the current moment. Awareness, the foundation of presence. While mindfulness is the act of paying attention, awareness is the broader state of being that encompasses this attention. Awareness is a natural quality we all possess, a silent witness that is always present, observing thoughts, feelings, and sensations without attachment or judgment. Imagine awareness as a vast sky, and your thoughts and emotions as clouds that move across it. These clouds are temporary, changing and shifting, but the sky remains unchanged. When we realize that we are the sky, not the clouds, we develop a deeper sense of peace and stability. Awareness helps us remember that we are not defined by passing thoughts or emotions. They are simply experiences within our consciousness. Practicing awareness often involves tuning into sensations, thoughts, and feelings as they arise. Here's a simple practice to cultivate awareness. 1. Find a quiet space. Sit comfortably in a quiet space and close your eyes. 2. Observe the breath. Take a few deep breaths, grounding yourself in the present moment. 3. Notice sensations. Begin by observing any physical sensations. Perhaps you feel tension in your shoulders or warmth in your hands. Just notice these sensations without trying to change them. 4. Watch your thoughts. As thoughts arise, watch them as if they are passing clouds. Avoid judging or engaging with them. Simply observe and let them go. 5. Return to awareness. Each time you get caught up in a thought or sensation, gently return to the present, remembering that you are the observer. This practice can be as short as 5 minutes or as long as you like. The goal is not to empty the mind, but to observe it from a place of detachment. Over time, you'll find that awareness becomes more accessible, helping you navigate life with greater calm and clarity. Mindfulness as a path to emotional freedom. One of the most powerful benefits of mindfulness and awareness is the freedom they bring from emotional reactivity. Emotions are a natural part of life, but when we react impulsively to them, they can lead to suffering. For example, anger often arises in response to perceived injustice, but when we act on anger without awareness, we may say or do things we later regret. Mindfulness allows us to recognize and observe our emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. Instead of reacting immediately, we can create space between the emotion and our response. This space gives us the freedom to choose our actions, transforming potentially destructive emotions into opportunities for growth and understanding. For instance, if you feel anger rising, take a few deep breaths and observe the physical sensations associated with the emotion. Notice how your muscles tense, your heart rate increases, or your breathing becomes shallow. By observing these sensations without judgment, you can allow the emotion to pass without acting on it impulsively. With practice, mindfulness empowers you to respond to emotions with wisdom rather than reacting out of habit. This emotional freedom is one of the greatest gifts of living in the present moment. Cultivating compassion through mindful awareness. Mindfulness and awareness not only help us navigate our inner world, but also deepen our connections with others. When we are present, we can respond to people with compassion and empathy. Mindful awareness enables us to see others as they are, rather than through the lens of our assumptions, biases, or judgments. When you listen to someone mindfully, you make space for their feelings and perspectives. This kind of presence communicates respect and care, helping others feel seen and valued. Over time, this mindful compassion transforms relationships, building trust and understanding. Practical exercises for building mindfulness and awareness. To make mindfulness and awareness a natural part of your life, here are a few practical exercises to try each day. 1. Morning intention setting. Start each day by setting a simple intention to stay present. For example, you might say, "Today I will listen deeply," or "Today I will bring awareness to my breath." Revisit this intention throughout the day to anchor yourself in the present. 2. Mindful check-ins. Set an alarm on your phone to go off every hour. When it does, take a few deep breaths and ask yourself, "Where's my mind right now?" This check-in brings you back to the present, allowing you to refocus. 3. Gratitude journal. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. This practice shifts your attention to the positive aspects of your life and reinforces the habit of appreciating the present. 4. Mindful transitions. Use transitions, like commuting, walking, or even waiting in line, as opportunities to practice mindfulness. Rather than reaching for your phone, bring awareness to your surroundings and your breath. By incorporating these exercises, you strengthen your ability to remain present, transforming mindfulness and awareness into a way of life. Anchoring in the present, the path to peace. Mindfulness and awareness anchor us in the present, helping us navigate life with grace and resilience. Each moment becomes an opportunity to experience life as it truly is, free from the distortions of past regrets or future anxieties. When we live mindfully, we realize that peace is not something we need to search for. It's already here, waiting in the stillness of each moment. This chapter introduces the foundational tools of presence. As we continue our journey, we'll explore deeper ways to connect with the now, transforming each day into a practice of mindfulness, awareness, and inner peace. So, why should you listen to the power of now? Well, besides the fact that it's an absolute game changer, it's also the perfect audiobook for specific target audience or situations, e.g., anyone looking to level up in their career, those struggling with motivation, etc. The audiobook format makes it easy to listen while you're doing other things, whether it's driving, exercising, or even just taking a break from your daily routine. And the best part? You're not just passively listening. Every chapter is designed to make you think, reflect, and take action. It's about changing your mindset and your habits for the better. Thanks for tuning into Audiobooks 2.0. Until next time, keep listening, keep growing, and keep transforming your world, one audiobook at a time.